Habiba. Welcome to Viva's Canadian Journey. Thank you so much for watching. Today's segment is going to be a bit different. That's by popular demand. I have a special guest here on Viva's Canadian Journey. So let's get started. So like I mentioned, by popular demand, I have my husband here, John, who is going to be, I'm going to be asking him some questions, and we're going to be looking at this whole relocating to Canada thing from a man, or should I say husband's lens, from a husband's point of view. Because the truth is, men and women were very, very different. We think very differently. While I was busy thinking, roses and purple stuff, he was thinking, really serious stuff. He had his own reservation and his own fears, which a lot of men do. So hopefully hearing his own side of the story will encourage somebody to start making that move to Canada. So, okay. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome my husband, John. Okay. So, hi. I'm very nervous having you here.
Hi.
Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming, because usually you're behind the camera. It's taking some convincing, but you're with me here. So let's get started. Let's get straight to it. Obviously, I shared with you the majority of the questions that people ask me. And one of them, a lot of questions people ask is how I got my husband on board for this whole Canada. But the truth is, it was actually your idea. You brought it up. So my first question, and a lot of questions that people ask, is what gave you the courage to, uproot your family from Nigeria and to move to Canada, kind of like Abraham did in the Bible?
Well, just like you said, like Abraham did. Maybe I'm following the footsteps of Abraham. Who knows? Well, the first thing is that the journey to immigration, wherever you're going to in the world, wherever you want to migrate to, takes a lot of courage to do that. And I would want to say that sometimes the passion to make such a move is being, is a kind of passion that is derived from somewhere. It could be discomfort, it could mean dissatisfaction from where you are. So those are things that could propel it. And, like you're asking, in my case, a lot of things coupled with political instability, advancement in career, the way you perceive it. Because we all have visions and goals that we've written. And we look at how the structure and the system is. Somehow, our system back in Nigeria doesn't really give someone like me, the opportunity to advance the way I want. Now I know that what I'm saying, some people might argue that point, and it's very fair to say that because some people excel in their careers back in Nigeria excellently. I mean, there are lots of people, my friends too, and family, that do so well. I'm not saying that I wasn't doing well in Nigeria, but there's something I'm looking at. And I looked around and seen that in a country where there's a political stability and there is almost equal opportunity, even if it's not equal, there is an opportunity for someone that is not really connected to other people. So those are some of the things that challenged me, and more of the courage came with the fact that I know that whatever I set my heart to do, I achieve it once I have God's support. So the first thing I did was, speak to God about it and say, oh, can I get my wife on board? And it was hard, the first time, but eventually
yes.
I became on board, and that was what I needed.
So just to give you a little context, we got married in 2016, and I think in 2017, that's when you brought it up. And I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Because for me, I had lived in the UK, for close to 10 years. And I was like, I'm not doing that life for working and just paying bills. So
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And then you brought it up again, I think it was 2018. And this time there was my, take on it was different, but I ran with it as if
Of
it
course.
was my vision and my goal. So, okay, good. Next question. How did you prepare for the move? The truth is, I have shared, what I did and but from your own personal, how did you prepare for the move? How do you think a husband, would, from your own take?
That's a tricky question, seeing that I am your husband. I am not another person's husband. So it's difficult to answer that
Okay,
as a
how do you?
wholesome, Well, I'm going to try and answer it from my own perspective. I'm not going to try to advise or convince another person's husband to do, because people are different. Okay, from my own end, my preparation, first of all, mental state. I believe that if a human being is able to put themselves in a place or a thing mentally first, you've done over 50% of the job. I came to Canada in my mind in like 2018 or 2017.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't here present, but my mind was here because I needed to understand this environment and the challenges. I like to look at challenges very well and consider if these challenges are things that may stop me. Are these challenges things that I feel I'm not ready for? So those were things I looked at. I mean, there are good things to say about Canada. Oh, they accept immigrants. Oh, you can excel here in your career. The government can support you if you have great ideas and stuff. All those are good. But what about issues that, because like I mentioned, some issues back in Nigeria that I don't find comfortable with? What if I'm coming here to issues that I may find more discomforting, or sort of, I try to look at that and study them, and in my mind painted pictures of scenarios. How do I overcome this? Issues that we don't like to talk about, racism, which is number one. Can you handle it? Can you handle microaggression from someone who doesn't even know what they're doing? How do you handle those things? How do you handle the fact that you have to start from the beginning? Apparently, from the beginning, So, in my mind, I did the preparation and with prayers. Now, when we talk about this aspect of prayers, no matter who you are in life, you need to have a spiritual connection with anything, any being. Mine is God. Jesus is my spiritual connection, and He helps me a lot. He helps me coordinate. So whoever you are, you have to have that connection, and that's where I did my preparation, and the physical things became lots easier.
So you're saying you prepared yourself mentally and
Spiritually.
Okay. The truth is, everybody has fears. I mean, even for someone like me, I talk about Canada so much, but I had fears coming here. One of my fears was, in Nigeria, I was climbing the ladder. I had reached communication specialist. One of my fears was I'll come here and, like you said, starting from the bottom. I still, when we came, we were much younger, and I thought, age was too young. Age wasn't outside, so I didn't really, but that was one of my fears, starting again, communications assistant, starting again, building up. What were your two top?
Too tough, because I have quite a couple of fears, like a lot of them. I mean, the first fear for me was what I know I was destined to do in connection with people, which is music. Now, we've chosen a place that my music wasn't really built on. The foundation of my music in terms of background was majorly in the Nigerian setting and African setting. Yes, I know that music is a global sound. So whatever language you sing on or perform in, you can still connect with people. Still, the knowing that I will be faced with a different kind of audience that may like a particular thing that's not what I'm used to, stuff like that. Am I going to excel? These were fears that I was faced with, and a good example of how I was able to overcome that particular fear. That very first one, like you mentioned, Abraham. Abraham, God said, get up and move. Abraham wasn't asked to move in his 30s, trust me. I mean, he was an old man already, and he was asked to move and go and start a new life somewhere. So some of these words, scriptures we read, and stories of these great men that started new things, new lives at a certain time of their lives that appeared like that's the time you should be settled, propelled me and gave me the courage and said, look, you can do it. Who said you can't achieve these things? Does it mean no one has achieved it? There are Nigerians doing great things in the world. And they didn't start from those countries. They started from Nigeria and moved to those countries and kept doing great. Who said I can't be one of them? That's how I want to approach this situation. I don't want to see myself as the one that may not succeed. Why won't I be the one that would succeed? And I will. And I am succeeding. So that's the first fear. Second fear was the issue of what's gonna happen. What if we come here and you don't get a job to uphold your home? What if you come here and things are not really the way people say they are? How do you overcome that? How do you handle that? Do I pack my bag and tell my family, okay, let's go back to Nigeria? Things were not the way. That fear, are you even going to make it? That was the second fear. And I know that people that are going to watch this video, that's like one of their top fears. But you have to encourage yourself and tell yourself you can do it. If you can't do that, don't take that step, because migration is not for everybody and it doesn't show strength of character. That's what I want to point out. For the fact that you've looked at it and said it's not something I can do doesn't mean you're not a strong person or courageous person. You are still a courageous person in other aspects, but this is not for you. Leave it, don't stress it. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I agree. I always say this, that relocating is not for the faint-hearted, but it does not mean, like you said, that you don't have a strong character if you don't relocate. It's just not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the truth. It's not easy. We've been here for over 2 years. It has not been easy, but we cherish every moment.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, yes, but it hasn't been easy. Next question. Has there been any time where you regretted moving to Canada? Because you've been here, it's going to be 3 years soon.
Yeah, I as an individual, I don't regret stuff. I just feel a sense of, I wish I had this. It's not regret, because I'm not saying I would take the other option to this. I'm just saying I wish I could mix the two. So not regret, but it's funny when I mention I miss my extended family, and food.
You just have to mention food.
Oh, God.
You just have
You
to
don't
mention
understand.
food.
I missed all hassle. I haven't eaten all hassle. Get it? Yeah, even if you get something close to it, it does not feel
the same.
like it. Onobu. But some of these foods are part of us. You understand? So I don't regret. I'm not going to say I will leave Canada and go back to Nigeria and start eating those food. I know that I can travel to Nigeria, eat, and come back.
Mm-hmm.
So a mix of the two. No regrets.
Okay, that's good. Next question. Has your experience, did your experience match your expectations? Because before we came to Canada, we did a lot of research and say Canada is amazing, it's beautiful. We've been here for, please be very honest with me.
Yeah.
Has it matched the experience? Is Canada all they say it is?
Canada is whatever you perceive it to be. Like, if you see it as a Greenland, I don't know what Greenland is. I haven't, all through my life, I didn't experience life from a place of greenness in that sense. I have seen my life as elevating. So maybe for someone who is already at the top, it may appear, like, oh, I know what greenness is. This doesn't look green. To me, Canada, by God's grace, has exceeded my expectation. Yeah, it has already. And for the fact that we are in a province that's perceived to be a small province and rural compared to the rest, Alberta, BC, Ontario, Manitoba, and Quebec. We are in a province that doesn't look like it, but it has already done that because I feel I am happy. I'm with my family, we are happy, we are satisfied, and we're pursuing greater things. So it has exceeded my expectations.
That's good. I'm glad you're saying that. Sometimes we should have this discussion one-on-one. Finally, what advice would you give to men, to husbands contemplating this move? Because we women, we're very pink and flowery, and sometimes we're just up in the air. But it's the husbands, the men that usually are thinking, your career, would you make enough to sustain your family?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the wife is already thinking how she's going to decorate the house and you haven't even got it.
Yeah. Well, no, thank God you said that.
What advice?
A lot of advice. One thing I would point out first is, if you finally make up your mind as a man to come here with your family, I want you to clearly take off everything you know or have experienced as a man back in Nigeria. For example, gate man washing your car, opening the door for you, some of those gestures that is embedded in our culture that we enjoy. Maybe we didn't put them in place, but we were, we grew into them, and boss, chairman, sir, all those things, you may never experience them again. You automatically become a partner with every other person. You see your wife, and in this country, I can clearly tell you that women tend to have more right than men.
Right? Women tend to have more right.
Yeah, than men. Everything, the light is like on them. Okay, so if you are someone who control is very, very important to, I don't know the relationship you have with your spouse. If you're someone who that is very important, it's primary to you, that things have to be that way. If you're coming here, consider that you may be working in a place where you're going to be called your first name. Even if you're a doctor, you're going to be called by your first name. So those are the things that you have to look at first and consider, are these things that I wouldn't like as an individual? If it's very important to you, you may have to think of not coming to Canada. I don't know other parts of the world. I mean, Canada is where I am, so I can easily say that. And another thing to look at is, think of it as a place where you have a particular goal you want to achieve, and look at a ladder. What are my options for starting? With maybe a smaller job that will help me, get the orientation that I need in the society, which is called the Canadian experience. It could be school, it could be work. What are my options of taking jobs that are not really related to my career path?
What people call survival jobs.
Yeah, what people call survival jobs. what if I'm faced with that option? Is it something I can do and deliver, with my whole heart? Some of those things we have to look at them. This is my advice for people, men that are looking to come with their families here.
All right, that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and most importantly, you got something out of listening to my husband talk about his own experience. And until next time, keep watching Viva's Canadian Journey. This is one of the channels that will actually prepare you for relocating to Canada. Okay, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to press the bell icon. And until next time, take care. Hi, my name is Habiba, and